Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. So I wanted to touch on this topic. Wait for a few people to jump up in here, but I wanted to touch on this topic, man. I was listening to OG Boxing Talk this morning. Shouts out to Fanon and shouts out to Drew Titan and who else was on there? The Expert Genius, and I think my man Cali Enigma was on there this morning too. But shouts out to Fanon, man. Excellent show this morning, and they touched on this topic. This Jones, Roy coming back and him and Mike fighting in an exhibition, man. And I was going back and forth with a few people in the comments section about why I actually like the fight. A lot of people think it's a circus. They think, why are these old guys getting in there fighting, so on and so forth. Um, so I did touch on this fight the other day, but just talking about who I think will win the fight and just my first initial thoughts. But uh, I actually like it, man, and I want to get into details as to why I like it. Lawrence Williams was good, man. The Architect one, salute. So hopefully a few guys from that chat will show up. I did tell them I was going live, but I didn't say exactly when because shit, I didn't even know when I was going to go live. But it was cats like Jupiter B up in there. There's a few other cats, man. So hopefully they can show up real quick and we can go back and forth. But shit, I see Lawrence Williams and the Architect One. You guys are up in here, man. What do you guys think about this event, man? Do you guys like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's a circus? Do you think, for what? Why are they doing this? Uh, I actually like it though, man. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes here, man. But I actually like the fact they're gonna have a 10-part docu series leading up to this event. Tommy Temper was good. They're gonna have a 10-part docu series leading up to this event, and people keep saying that they're gonna have big ass gloves on and a whole bunch of headgear. But from the reports that I've read, there's gonna be no headgear, and it's gonna be 12-ounce gloves. Usually, heavyweights they fight in 10-ounce gloves. So, and just another thing, the word exhibition and Mike Tyson, no headgear, 12-ounce gloves. I just don't see Mike quote unquote taking it easy. I just take it easy and Mike Tyson just doesn't just doesn't go together in my opinion. I guess we'll see what's going to happen, but I just don't see him taking it easy. Then also seeing something that Roy came out with yesterday. He said that if Mike tries some dirty stuff, I'm not Evander Holyfield. I'm going to do something dirty back to you. Saying if Mike were to get in there and try to bite his ear off or something like that, Roy said he's going to bring it right back to him. I like that part. You know what I mean? But let me see. Harold Jones was good, man. Black Reality TV, what's up? The Architect One says, I'm in. I wanted about 17 years ago, but hey, hopefully they come out healthy. Yeah, and before I get to my points is why I don't see a problem with this fight and why I actually like the fight. I will say this. Yes, we do know they're gonna try to get it on back in '03, but that fight never came to fruition. I actually did a video about that about a couple years ago, still up on YouTube. That video is actually getting some hits now because everybody's going to it, or people are searching up this topic, and that video is popping up in people's feeds, and people are commenting on that video. But I actually talked about that fight if it would have took place in 2003. Talked about that a few years ago, but it's here now, right? Both these guys are well over 50 years old, or 51 and 54 respectively. But hold on, y'all. Let me get set really quick. But yeah, as far as their health, bro, I'm just concerned about their health as I was concerned about when I was watching Wilder and Fury, and I seen the blood by Wilder's head and all that. Look what it looked like it was coming out of his ear, right? I'm just as concerned as for his health as I'm just concerned as for Mike and Roy's health as I was for Wilder's health or any other. And I'm just using that as an example just to say for any fucking fighter, whether you're old or you're a young guy, you're a younger guy in his prime. You know what I mean? So I'm always concerned about these guys' health, man. But being that they are in their 50s, I mean, Mike hasn't really took punches, blows to the head in a minute. What 2000? If you want to count his exhibition fight he had with Corey T. Rex Sanders, um, and we know Roy's shit. His last fight, I actually went and watched his last fight the other day, just in preparations for this upcoming exhibition, right? This fight right here, and he didn't look like somebody. Although he was in there with lackluster opposition, he didn't look like every punch was getting to him, or he, Jazz was stiffening his legs up, or little, shots like that. He didn't seem like he was reacting in a negative way to every shot. You know what I mean? So he didn't seem that. It wasn't coming off like that. His last fight that took place a few years ago. But I still think Mike is gonna catch him and get him out of there. If guys like Enzo Macronelli and Danny Green and who else stopped Roy? Enzo Macronelli, Danny Green, Dennis Lebedev. Lebedev was a pretty decent cruiserweight. But if guys like that can get to you and KO you, man, I think Mike Tyson, even at 54, and from what I've seen, the way he's hitting the mitts and hitting the double or hitting the bags I've seen and the pads and all that, looks like still got some power left, man. St. Cruz and what's up? He says, I don't like headgear. I know safety, fun fight. Tavares Dot said was good, man. Tommy Temper says, will Jones be strong enough in the clinch? Mike could easily manhandle Roy. I think so as well. St. Cruz says 2 to 3 round KO. Mila 2243 was good, man. He says picking Tyson to stop him. All right, I'm gonna get into it, man, because I got to go out and do a training session with my oldest boy with hoops, man. So I'm gonna just start cooking and hopefully J. Bruce Theory was good, man. Okay, now look. Here's why I have no problem with this fight, and here is why actually Jupiter B, you made it, bro. I was just talking about you. All right, Jupiter B is up in here. All right, so good. Um, Now here's why, and Jupiter, you just made it, bro, because I didn't bring up my points as to why I like the fight and why I have no problem with the fight. All right, well, for one is this. I hear people saying it's a circus type of atmosphere thing. To me, more of a circus is this Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul, the YouTuber, is going to fight Nate Robinson, a three-time NBA slam dunk champ. To me, that's more of a realm of a circus. This right here is two Hall of Fame fighters. Mixed stroke vision was good, bro. How you ain't got a wrench? Hold on, y'all. Go ahead and do that for you, bro. Um, you know what I mean? Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson, that's a circus. At least this is kept in the realm of boxing. At least this isn't a a Hall of Fame boxer taking on a Hall of Fame Major League Baseball player, some shit. You know what I mean? George Foreman fighting Nolan Ryan or some crazy shit like that, right? Jose Canseco taking on Antonio Tarver. You know what I mean? So to me, that's more of a circus. At least this is kept in the realm of boxing. Another thing, um, is this, right? The promotion is good. So this right here is showing some of the younger fighters who people think that Tyson and Roy Jones taking shine away from. This show them how to promote a fight. Not a two-part series lead up to your fight, not a four-part series. How about they're going to do a 10-part docu-series on this? Now I know Mike and Roy have enough history and have enough nostalgia with their career that you can do a 10-part docu on guys like this, all right? But this is showing you how to really promote something. Mike Tyson, right? A lot of his hardcore major fans is guys around my age and older, right? I'll be 40 this year, right? So he has to appeal to a newer fan base, the 18 to 34 year old. So they're going to show you how to market and get the attention of this newer or just this younger fan base, right? And Mike is also not also marketing this fight. He's also ushering in other business ventures that I didn't even know until this fight happened. Well, I heard about his weed farm. I know he has his podcast, but there's other little things that he owns and businesses that he's doing that he's bringing to the forefront. And I like that. That right there, the younger guys should be able to learn from just the marketing scheme of what's going on right now. Watch these older fighters in their 50s come back and show you how to market the right way. You know what I mean? Because everybody talking about their brand, and we do live in an era where athletes are their own brand. High school basketball players that have a chance to make it to the NBA, they're their own brand in high school, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So I actually like that. Um, Another thing I'll bring up is this thing right here, this Legends League type of thing they got between Roy and Mike. This kind of reminds me of watching the Big Three, right? When I watch hoops, yes, the NBA is what I pay attention to the most, and I like when the college season rolls around. But shit, man, I like to be entertained. I like the Big Three. I like what Ice Cube got going on with the Big Three. You know what I mean? This also kind of reminds me of what the hip hop cats is doing, which I love, the versus battles, right? It's just nostalgia, and it's not messing with any of the young up and comers. It's just a nostalgia thing, man. Like I like the versus battles. I like Ludacris taking on Nelly, and the other day they had DMX and taking on Snoop. just a celebration of their careers and their music. This is a celebration of these two fighters and what they've done. And if they can get another payday, I was supporting them in their fighting days decades ago. If they're fighting each other, I'll still support it. You know what I mean? This kind of reminds me of the NBA. Remember back in the 80s, y'all, for my hoop heads, they used to have like the Legends game. They had the dunk contest and the 3 point and all that, but they kind of did away with the Legends game. But they would have the Legends game before the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Back in the 80s. They end up stopped doing it. But it's just entertainment, man. And another thing, this fight right here, this isn't affecting the WBC rankings. It's not affecting the WBO rankings at heavyweight. It's not affecting the IBF rankings. It's not affecting the WBA. It's not affecting none of the sanctioning bodies rankings. This is not affecting Joseph Parker's next opponent. It's not affecting Dillian White's next opponent. It's not affecting Wilder taking on Fury. It's not affecting AJ and Pulev. When it comes to the pro boxing and heavyweight division, it's not affecting anything. So I have no problem. The winner of this isn't getting a title shot at the WBA. You know what I'm saying? The winner of this isn't getting it's not messing with any of that. So I like it. It's just, to me, the championship of themselves. You know what I mean? This is something that they, when they had, well, shit, Roy was talking about moving up to heavyweight at 97, if y'all don't remember, after he had beat Montel Griffin in the second fight. So even then, he was talking about maybe taking on the Holyfield one day. And then fast forward some years later, he ended up fighting John Ruiz. And then he was going to stay at heavyweight, but then he didn't. And that was the fight. He was going to try to get a fight with Tyson or Holyfield, whatever, and it never took place. So these guys have been thinking about this for a while now. Yes, it took them a hell of a long time to want to get in the ring and make it come to fruition. But even now, like I said, man, it's not bothering anything, in my opinion. Um, so as long as it's not bothering the heavyweight picture, and Deontay Wilder isn't talking about, oh shit, man, I might take on Fury in the third fight, but Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? Mike Tyson calling for that smoke. Then I'll be like, damn, come on, OGs, y'all just butting in for no reason. You know what I mean? I see y'all leaving comments. I'm gonna get to y'all's comments in a second. Just want to cook and get everything out. But to me, those are just my major points, man. It's kind of like when Floyd came back and fought McGregor. Yeah, I didn't want to see him come back and fight McGregor, but shit, it wasn't bothering the welterweight division. No title shots, none of that. Now, if you say, well, it's taken away from the attention, okay, well, to me, that means there's something wrong with the newer guys that cannot garner that type of attention yet. Well, then you guys need to work on getting yourselves out there more. I know it's hard to try to put your star up next to Mike Tyson's star, right? But still, though, man, if a 50-something-year-old dude can come back pretty much just off nostalgia and get newer fans from this younger generation, because they didn't grow up watching Mike Tyson. They grew up seeing Mike Tyson do crazy shit outside the ring and probably seeing some clips and highlights of him. You know what I mean? So for guys like Charlo and Canelo and all these guys, then I heard uh, Canelo wanted a date in September. This showed you the star power that Mike Tyson still has. You know what I mean? It's amazing that he still has this type of star power that people, they're going to throw this big bag at him and Roy, but shit, man, they deserved it, man. They put their work in, the bad, and the ugly. And to me, if there's two guys that deserve a payday or another payday on their way out, although they are already out, but you guys know what I'm saying. And it's against two fighters that we know of. It's not some circus shit. It's not Mike Tyson taking on a Rhino or some crazy shit like that, or Roy Jones, you know what I mean, taking on some crazy shit, man. I'm all for it, man. It ain't bothering nobody. We're going to come out that day with a pay-per-view event. Well, you need to learn how to get your star power up more than. Maybe take some notes from Mike and them. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much all I had to say on it, man. So I'm going to get to what y'all talking about, and we go back and forth for a second here, man. But I got to get outside and start this workout with my boys with basketball. But let's see what y'all talking about, man. Jupiter B says YouTubers, non-fighters is definitely more of a circus. I agree. Teddy Beeman with Sports Talk says that's definitely more of a circus. Or you guys must be talking about when I said Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. Yeah, that to me, that's more of like a circus type shit. Like, what the fuck is this? At least this is kept in the realm of the sport. Um, Architect once said Roy should drop another album. Hey, he might as well, with all his attention that this shit's garnering. This could be a he come out with a new Y'all Must Have Forgot 2 or some shit. You know what I mean? Jupiter B says, to be honest, Tyson and Roy don't really have to market. Boxing media instantly picked it up over meaningful current fights because boxing writers get kickbacks. Okay, Jupiter B, what I'll say is this: they still have to cater to a younger fan base to get their attention as well. It's going to get our attention and the writers' attention because they're just Hall of Fame and just the nostalgia of it. But they still have to market. I mean, a 10-part docuseries, in my opinion, bro, that's a marketing scheme. They're not putting a 10-part docuseries out for nothing. They're putting 10 different things out to try to get more attention garnered to this fight. Cats my age and around my age and older than me and all that, you know, that type of thing. It's gonna strike our attention because the names just pop out. But that little 19-year-old, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, man, ain't trying to. And you know how youngins is, man. When it comes to music, sports, you know how youngins is. So you gotta cater to them and market to them in a different way as well. So that's what I think about that. Trap House was good, brother. Jupiter B also says it's not affecting anything, but boxing writers will use it to overshadow boxers who have found success without promoters who pay for their hotel fees and airfare. And I get what you're saying, those type of boxing writers that, but it's their job to talk about what's, the popular topics as well, bro. And hold on. And you said overshadows, okay. But shit, bro, some of this shit deserves to be overshadowed. And I'm being honest with you. Like, for instance, for example, bro, Joe Joyce and Dubois are supposed to fight each other, right? They're supposed to lock horns right away, right? The pandemic happened. I understand that. I understand that. Now they gave them interim fights, right? So this shit should mean more than what I watched yesterday, which was Joe Joyce versus Michelle Wallace. And then you got Dubois getting ready to take on, which I think might not be the easiest fight, but he is fighting Eric Pfeiffer, two-time Olympian, right? What I'm saying is there's a lot of interim fights and a lot of bullshit fights that take place, bro, that need to be fucking overshadowed until these dudes start getting in the ring. And at heavyweight, I'm talking, the heavyweight division, we do get Wilder, Fury, and we are getting some good fights. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of bullshit fights too. And if I was, and if I sit here and supported and watch Michelle Wallace versus Joe Joyce, I'm definitely going to sit here, support, and watch Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. You dig what I'm saying? Because, bro, we get a lot of Rod Salkos versus Danny Garcia type of scraps. Shouts out to Danny, man. I heard him in an Arrow post to lock horns. I think that's a really good fight. You know what I mean? But, yeah, in a way, it can overshadow those guys, but those guys should just take heed. And yes, this era is different because you got guys that are trying to be more self-made than guys that didn't know the business all that great back in the 80s and 90s, and they let promoters and run everything. But now we're in a new era. Even when you look in the NBA, man, you got guys taking more control of their careers, and I like that. I love that, man. You know what I mean? I own my own business as well, so I love that part. But at the same time, though, man, like I said, this just is just to me, us, the boxing world, right? The boxing world, just giving back to our OGs. Again, it's not affecting no title shots. Wilder's still gonna fight Fury. Hey, you get what I'm saying? So as long as it's not affecting that, I'm good. Uh Jupiter B says newer guys can and do garner attention, but you literally have boxing writers who admitted to not covering fights for who won't take part of quid quote pro. Okay, and look, bro, a lot of these boxing writers, yes, they cozy up to certain promoters, and that's just how it always been. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying majority of boxing writers in the history of the sport cozy up to certain promoters and certain fighters for exclusive interviews. Like you said, they pay for sandwiches and hotel fees and probably get them some hookers or whatever. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of little perks, right? That's never going nowhere. That's why I actually like guys like that are on here that I support and I watch their channels, man, and they come up with their own content. I even put myself in that situation. I don't need to talk to anybody about breaking down heavyweights. I don't need nobody to pay for shit. I go to fights myself. You dig what I'm saying? So, but Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson, though. It don't matter who's writing about this shit, though, bro. It don't matter if it's the media that partake in those type of things, or if it's the self-made media type of guys. It's just going to be talked about because of the nostalgia of it all. What's good, James Coleman? Mick Hennessy, He said he would love to see Mike Tyson versus Rhino. Uh, Jupiter B says, I have no issue with the fight, but at least have two real heavyweights. I know Roy beat Ruiz, but he not a real heavyweight. But he is a real all-time great fighter that did hold on to a heavyweight title. Um, and shit, he's at the age now though, bro. I think it'd be kind of hard for Roy not to weigh at least 200 pounds. I know the other, like I said, his last fight was at cruiser, but you know how it is at cruiser. You weigh in at 199.3, and then on fight night, you're probably at a 202 or 203. And Mike wasn't the biggest heavyweight, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's in there fighting Lennox Lewis. It's not like it's Lennox Lewis against Roy Jones Jr. I mean, shit. Technically, I'm just going off off technicalities. I understand that Mike is the real heavyweight in this, right? As far as he spent his career at heavyweight, but Roy still is an inch taller and he has an inch in reach. You dig what I'm saying? Um, but shit. Plus, the older you get, the harder it is to keep your weight down for most guys. You know what I mean? And I think it'd be a good fight, man. It's not like Roy's gonna come in at 230. You know. So I like the fight all in all, man. Let's see. Jupiter B says docu-series are not marketed to 19-year-olds. That's not their thing. But their thing is to be on the internet, social media, anything that pops up. I think a docu-series is marketed for them. That's no difference than that to me is no different than an Instagram clip. It's not no different than a Facebook video. That's what they do, bro. They sit on their phones and watch videos and clips all day. You dig what I'm saying? So as long as they had something handheld in there, or as long as they have a device that's handheld, they'll watch it. I think they'll watch it. I know my old ass gonna watch it, but I think a 19-year-old will watch it. Like, damn, I heard old boy Mike Tyson come back fighting Roy Jones, man. I seen clips and let me just check this shit out. 24/7s and all that, that got a lot of attention from the young cats. The 24/7 episodes, you come on HBO, then the face-offs. What's the shit they have nowadays out there in the UK where Johnny Nelson sits in the middle? Is it called face-off? I know HBO had one, but then the UK got their own. The gloves are off. All of them types of shits are marketed to the young boxing fan. You know what I mean? D-Style, what's good, bro? D-Style says, I think it will hit people the week of. Yeah, and that's usually what that's how boxing usually goes anyways, man, especially that week of a fight. The J. Ruse, hold on, let me see. Then Jupiter B says, hold on, damn. Kind of skipping people. Hold on, let me see. Teddy B Midwest Sports Talk says shouldn't care about what media says. Yeah, really. I mean, really. Uh, Jupiter B says I'm talking about championship fights that have been announced where Mannix, Steve, Kim, etc. have already said they won't give them positive press because they refuse quit. Well, true, but a guy like me though, and no disrespect to Steve Kim and Mannix and all that, I don't even listen to them, dude. I I don't even. I think just the older you get, man, and if you've been watching something for 30 plus years, and I've been doing YouTube videos for going on 11 years talking about this shit, just watching boxing, I think you just get to the point where you don't even listen to them type of motherfuckers, man. Like, I don't, and I get what you're saying. Those are the people with those high ranking jobs to talk about boxing. But really, though, man, uh, when it comes to this social media thing, there's guys on here who I listen to that have bigger followings than Mannix and Steve Kemp, even though they work for the ESPNs and all that type of shit in their own TV. Dante Boxing Nation, he got a bigger following than any of them, right? For none. I think my platform probably has more than them. I'm close to 20,000. I don't show my subs, but I'm close to 20,000 subs. And I don't even think that's really anything. You get what I'm saying? Shit. So I listen to Steve. I listen to D Style Boxing more than I've ever listened to Steve Kim. I've listened to Blood Boxing and 78 Sports TV more than I've ever listened to Mannix. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest with you. Let me see here. The J. Bruce Theory says, Mr. Boxing, I mentioned you in my Joe Joyce video when you said he looks like he was boxing in super slow motion. Man, damn, that dude looked like he was boxing in slow motion, man. I understand he's durable, he's strong, he's a thudding puncher. Sometimes, even though if you're a slow puncher, you can still find places to put timing shots in where you can time your shots and you can place shots, and he was throwing good bodies. There's, but as far as his hand speed, Jesus Christ, man. I literally, and I'm not even playing with you, bro. When I was doing that live yesterday, I literally turned to my wife like, is this playing slow? And I wasn't even trying to be funny. Man, that dude punches slow, but he's getting the job done, against the opposition that he's faced. Um, let me see. Let me see. Jupiter B says, I brought up boxing media to show this isn't anything master marketing. Boxing media are doing it for them. Example of this, Trump. Fabisi says Tyson's not so much tall as he is thick. Yeah, I'm just going by just height. I know that Mike Tyson's more of a wide, broad shoulders, muscular. The motherfucker's dynamite packed into a 5'10" frame. I definitely understand that. But I'm just saying, it's just giving you some facts, just height and reach. Roy does have the advantage, technically. The Architect One, Michael Jordan 10-part series was marketed to the younger generation. Thank you. That Last Dance, thank you. And the NBA is full of what? Young guys, right? Crazy haircuts, color schemes with their shoes and all that. And they were the main ones talking about this shit on Instagram. That's when you know you have a crazy star power, man, when you're in your 50s, like Mike, like Tyson and Jordan in their 50s, and Roy. And then you have to double back and show the 18-year-old, hey, man, this is how it was when I was coming up. The 19-year-old, the 21-year-old, the 22-year-old. Because the only thing they know about these cats is YouTube highlights. I tried to, just off topic for a second, but there was a few years ago, this is like probably more than a few, probably like 2013, 2014, I was at the gym hooping, man. And these younger cats, and at this time, I'm 2013, I'm 33, 34, 2013, 2014. Forgot when I actually had this conversation. Anyways, I'm at the gym hooping, and these cats start talking about the best point guards of all time. Bro, they got to like 6, 7 point guards, didn't even bring up Magic Johnson. I literally just stood up, got on the court, and just kept shooting. I couldn't even talk. I didn't hear Isaiah Thomas or Magic Johnson come up. Top 10? Why? Because the only thing they know, Magic Johnson just, he has a suit on, and he used to play back in the day, and they probably seen a highlight or two. But if there was some type of movie or docuseries that came out, then it will, the younger cast, the younger generation will get to know more of who Magic Johnson really was. Not just this guy in a suit that owns a whole bunch of shit, you know what I mean? And is doing his thing as a older guy. But this is kind of like with Mike Tyson. Yeah, they know to do with the tattoo on his face, and he do a podcast where they smoke weed on it and everything, and he has a lot of excellent guests, and you probably seen a highlight or two, and he bit Evander Holyfield's ear. But shit, even I'm interested to see, although a lot of things have been publicized, but I'm pretty sure there should be some things on there where Mike's going to talk about that took place in the last 15. Although he has came out with his own stage show, and he's kind of put all that stuff out to the public, but they'll be creative. They'll be creative. Let me see, Mr. Boxing. D-Style says, Mr. Boxing today rather listen to D-Style than Steve Kim. Yeah, any day, bro. Like all them dudes, Dan Raphael. The only time I would bring up or reference any of them dudes, and I don't even know them cats like that. But only time I would reference to them is if it was an article that I was on ESPN looking at, and I'll just say, hey, you guys know my little thing I used to say, give you the information of who wrote the article, what website, click it, read it, come to your own surmise about it. I used to always say that, right? So that's what I used to do, just read their article, and then whatever information that was in the article that they got from the promoter or the fighter because they interviewed them, then I'll reference them. But just off their boxing knowledge and what they think, and I never did videos about that. Could you guys believe what Dan Raphael said? Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? I never cared. But when he would interview Bob Arum, then I'll take what Arum said from the interview, things like that. But I don't really care about their boxing opinions or knowledge. Shit, once you've been watching something for 30 plus years, man, you should know what the fuck you're looking at by now. You shouldn't need Dan Raphael to hold your hand. Ticket TV, what's good, brother? Yo, Ticket beat, man. Listen to you the other night, man. Them panels you had like 500 people up in on that live, man. Y'all go subscribe to Ticket TV, man. Yo, if you want to hear some basketball talk, go to Ticket, man. Dude played overseas, played in college. You know what I mean? My basketball brother, because Ticket, you know how small the basketball world is, man. I know the team you played for in college, y'all played against Winona State in the championship, right? Got a lot of history with them cats from Winona State too, man. But you guys go check out Ticket TV, man. Best basketball talk on the internet, bar none. Shout out to Carcino. Carcino be having me cracking up too. Been knowing Carcino for what 11 years, man. He be talking about hoops as well. But y'all go check out Ticket, man. Jupiter B says I like the docu-series. I'm saying they have backing to push the series because of the same media y'all say no one cares about backing it. Um, Hold on, you say I like the series, but they have backing to push the series because of the same media. Well, shit, bro. We just gonna agree to disagree on this one, Jupiter. But yes, they do have the ESPNs and the USA Today's and the CBS's and all that. But it's not so because it's like they're trying to push something down our throat like Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. It's because it's Roy and it's Mike. That's so shit. Whether it's media I don't care about or care about, you just can't. Those names are too big, bruh. Them names are just too big to say to put that at the bottom of the sports column on the sports page. It's just those names are too big, man. It's like if Michael Jordan came out and said, "Look, I'm gonna participate in the Big Three." No disrespect to cats killing in the Big Three. No disrespect to Will Bynum killing in the Big Three or Stat killing in the Big Three or you dig what I'm saying? But if you say Jordan's coming back, just the nostalgia of it is going to make you pay attention. It just is what it is. The names are just too big, man. The names are too big. The names are just too big, bro, to just overlook. Blood, what's good, bro? Retro boxing documentaries, what's good? Jupiter B says we are talking about their reach beyond boxing. You preferring YouTube channels, I do too. Is completely irrelevant. Um, Maybe I am. Maybe Jupiter said, "Fuck it, man." Getting frustrated. Maybe I am missing a point, Jupiter. I'm trying to. I'm trying to. This was so hard. Sometimes going back and forth when it's just comments. I wish I could get you online, bro. We can chop it up about it, uh, but I get your premise, though. I get your premise. Like, hey, man, there's Charlo and Rosario going on. There's other big fights. You know, Showtime came out with their queue of fights coming up, which is a damn good queue of fights coming up. I understand that, bro. But at the same time, though, this isn't affecting any of those fights. It's not affecting, in my opinion, it's not affecting the heavyweight division. Mike taking on Roy ain't affecting Wilder Fury. It ain't affecting the WBC rankings or the IBF rankings. It ain't affecting Joseph Parker. It ain't affecting Joe Joyce and Dubois. So I'm just hell bent on that it's not affecting any of that. This is just the championship of themselves between two legends. So I'm getting a little bit let me see. DB was good, bro. But that's pretty much it, man. I already spent 33 minutes on it. That's just what I want to get off my chest about it. You know what I mean? Let me see. I'll read one more. My man, Jupiter, he says, as I know Tyson and Roy are big names and I don't need to be sold, but they, boxing media, is doing it anyway while purposely not covering the things that do matter, is what I'm saying. And then, Jupiter, you also got to look at the source of it. Who are these certain boxing media guys that aren't covering the fights that you think should be getting highly covered? Are these guys that have always been against the fighters in the fights that you're talking about? Because if they're those media type guys, then really fuck them, bro. Just fuck them because they're never going to cover. Because there's some media guys out here I can tell that don't like PBC. So if you're talking about those cats, bro, then just fuck them. Seriously, in all due respect, fuck them because they're never going to want to cover anything over there on that side. So if that's what you're talking about, bro, then yeah, just fuck them, man, because they're never they'll never uh, give certain fighters and fights their proper due. You dig what I'm saying? So if you're waiting for such and such reporter to talk about the Charlos or Errol Spence or something like that, and they haven't been talking about them, they're definitely not gonna talk about them now. And they'll use any and every other fight to hype up um, or push to the top. Yeah, I definitely don't want to see them get hurt either, Jupiter. They are guys in their 50s, man. You know, I definitely want to see them get. I definitely don't want to see nobody get hurt. Uh, but that's pretty much it, man. Anybody that's joining a little bit late, the meat of this conversation was already talked about earlier in the vid, man. I don't want to be just keep saying the same shit over and over and over and over again, man. But I appreciate y'all showing up. This was quick. Y'all go check out OG Boxing Talk that took place this morning, man. Great discussion, great panel on there. They hit on a lot of subjects that I actually do agree about, but this one right here had a slightly different opinion about it. I wanted to give my take on it. But hey, man, it's the championship of themselves. Dig what I'm saying? The heavyweight division, pro boxing, ain't gonna be bothered by it. None of the sanctioning bodies gonna be bothered by it. None of the title elimination matches are going to be bothered by it. It's just two legends getting it on. This is, like I said, y'all, this is like the big three opposed to the NBA. This is like the NBA All-Star Legends game that used to take place in the 80s. Now I got Ticket and Blood here. Y'all remember the NBA Legends game, right? Back in the 80s. That used to take place before the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Uh, and like I said, it kind of remind me of the versus battles that's going on. Although people are getting punched in the face and not spinning records. But this ain't no different than DMX versus Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean? In my opinion. All right. But hey, y'all be good. I'm gone, man. Until next time. Peace.